What's good, everybody? Today, as you can see by the title, I'm really just talking about my experience, about how I felt the presence of God, and hopefully this answers a lot of people's questions who are trying to get into, the faith or become a Christian or just become a believer and really have that encounter and experience with God for the first time. So for me, I just wanted to start it off kind of laying the foundation of my experience and my personal testimony because I feel like that's always helpful for people. So for me, yeah, I grew up in church since I was a kid. And when you go to church as a kid, it's cool. You see your friends and family there. It's real relaxed. You got Sunday school. And then as I started growing up, right, got to my teenage years, it was like kind of just became like an obligation, honestly, like a burden. Like I didn't really want to go. It was like I just got to go because my family's going, and I'll be there and sit there and watch and clap or listen. But I'm not really paying attention. I'm not really having any encounter or experience. I'm just there because I feel like I have to be there. So it was like I always saw people worshiping and praying and listening to preachers, but I never knew God for myself. I knew of him because of everyone else. And honestly, it's almost like, I was blind and people were telling me that the sky is blue, but I never saw it for myself. So I never really felt like, how could I know if God is really real? Or I never knew him for myself, and that always was a struggle for me. So, before college, like the summer before college, I was just questioning, like, I was like, what is this? Is this real? Like, how do I find God? Where is he? I want to reach out to him, but I don't know how. Like all of these questions in my mind because I was just desperate to understand and to know who God was for myself. So I just want to get into how I did that and how I got to the place where I am now, where I have no doubt that I know God is real. And that is an awesome place to be, and it's a hard place to get to. I mean, and it's not like there's times where, you ever think about it, a thought ever creeps in my mind, but I know God is real because I've seen him move, I've experienced him for myself, I've felt his presence. So, first thing I would tell you, if you're trying to encounter God and you're trying to experience God, you're trying to draw near to God, is to be vulnerable. It's hard sometimes, especially as a dude, like to really dive deep into how am I feeling, where's my heart at, what are my emotions. But it's like you can't hide anything from God. You know what I'm saying? He wants your broken heart. I have a verse for that. Psalms 51:17. God wants us to come to him broken. He says, the sacrifice you desire. So this is David talking to God. The sacrifice you desire is a broken spirit. You will not reject a broken and repentant heart, oh God. So that's what God wants from us, right? He wants us to come to him with a broken and repentant heart. He doesn't want you to come to him perfect. Matthew 9:13 says he's come to save those who know that they are sinners, not those who think they are righteous. He wants you to come to him broken, understanding, God, I don't have it all. I don't have all the answers. I need something bigger than myself because I'm empty on the inside. I'm screwed up on the inside, and I know I need you, and I'm reaching out to you. So you have to be vulnerable and emotional and honest, comfortable doing that, opening up. And it's hard for a lot of people, especially men. So that was an obstacle that I had to get past, was just being vulnerable. The next thing I would say is, my second point is, you have to have faith. And it's hard to have faith in things that you can't see or feel, right? And this is one of the biggest challenges. It's like, how do I have faith in God if I've never experienced him? But the thing is, he's left us evidence everywhere we look, you know? Even if you read the Bible and you do your research, there's evidence of the existence of Jesus, his death, and that the disciples saw his resurrection. You keep looking, you start learning, you see the people in church, or maybe you're not in church, and you start, you watch videos about it, you start learning, you're eager, you're curious. You have to build up that faith and say, okay, God, you're bigger than me, and I know you're out there somewhere, and I believe you're out there somewhere. I'm just ready to find you. For a while, looking back, I had put faith in my own intellect. Like that was my God. It was like, if I don't understand it, if I can't comprehend what it is, then it can't be true. Or if I haven't experienced, it can't be true. But you have to put away that way of thinking. How can you have more faith in what you have comprehended when you don't even know all the things that humans know? How could you possibly know what a God knows in an earth that's bigger than you? So I had to submit that way of thinking and understand that I'm just a small piece on this earth. You know what I'm saying? really humble yourself and say, look around and like, man, I'm just one amongst many. And there's no way that this mind can understand every single thing. So that's hard for a lot of people too. And that was hard for me. But getting to that point where you have that faith. If we look at Hebrews 11:6, and it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to him must believe that God exists and that he rewards those who sincerely seek him. So God is telling us right there, right? If we come to him genuinely, we want to seek you, God. I have faith in you, God. He's going to reward you. He's going to answer you. There's no doubt. I have no doubt that God will answer you. So that's my second point, having faith. And my third point is to be authentic. So to be authentic is to have your own experience, to be personal. You have your own struggles. You have your own issues. You have your own brokenness, your own things that have hurt you in your life. Don't hide those things from God. Be authentic. Tell him how you feel. Even if you feel like, man, I shouldn't say that. If I'm really talking to God, I shouldn't tell him that, I feel hurt by him or things like that. Just say it. Say it out loud too. That's a part of being authentic. Say it out loud, declare it. You believe it when you speak it out loud. So be honest and express how you're feeling. At this point in my life, as I'm talking about my story, I just knew I needed God to show up. I knew I needed to feel it for myself. And I told him that. I said, God, I need you to show up repeatedly. I prayed that prayer many times because that's all I was just waiting for him to grab onto him. You know what I'm saying? And he rewarded me for that. And I'm so grateful for it because I needed it more than ever. There's no need to hide and shame or guilt. Everybody has, ways that they've been hurt or things that they don't like about themselves or, things like that. And God wants your broken spirit. He wants your heart. He's a relational God. When you come to him broken, he's just gonna wrap his arms around you and tell you, yeah, you're my child, I love you. Because he's a father, right? The fourth point I have is to read the word, pray, and worship. As you start to seek God, you should start to put action behind that, right? Like I said in the last video, faith without works is dead. So put action behind it. For me, music is just a big part of my life in general. It's a way that, it can help me with feeling emotional or anything. Like it just helps you feel good. You feel bad, you turn music on. You feel good, you turn music on. It's a sensual experience. And so when I listen to worship music, right, and I'm praising God, those are the moments where, man, I can feel God the most now because it's just genuine. I'm saying words that I truly believe and I can truly relate to. And that's when I feel the spirit of God, and that presence is peace. It almost feels like he just breathed on me, and there's like this wind, and it's almost like I have goosebumps, but I look down every time and I don't, because it's my spirit. It's the spirit of God, and I just feel so at peace, so loved. Sometimes you're crying, but it's not a mourning. It's tears of joy. It's like finally I have found what I've been searching for so long. And even reading the word, sometimes you get like I read and I relate, or I see myself, or I see the way that God has sacrificed himself for me, or I've been blessed, and I can't help but just to tear up. And that's the spirit of God inside of me. And it's so beautiful when you get to that point. And I know if you do these things, if you have faith, if you're authentic, if you're vulnerable, and if you reach out to God, he will reach out to you. He will welcome you with open arms. He is your father and he loves you. So my fifth and final point is just to surround yourself with other believers. If you're still at a point where, you know, you haven't really felt that for yourself, or even if you have, it's just important to do this. Matthew 18:20, he says, "For where two or three gather together as my followers, I am there among them." So when you are around other believers, right, and people that are praying and worshiping, you can't help but do the same. You can't help but see the Spirit of God moving. And when you're amongst them and amongst the presence of God, and you say, you do all of these things, I promise you're going to feel God. I promise that spirit is going to enter. Or even ask them to pray for you. And I promise you're going to start tearing up and you start seeing, okay, God is real. Because being around those people, I was fortunate enough to see that as a child and as a teenager, just throughout my life, being in church, being in a healthy church. to see people that really loved God, and especially in my family. I saw how that held us together like glue. And I knew that it had to be real because I'd seen the problems in the world. I've seen how, divorce and all these things can mess up people's lives or family issues. And I saw how stuck together my family was. And I said, yeah, God is here and he is the reason. So that is my testimony. That is my encouragement for anyone who is looking to find God and you want to start this journey, right? And you want to be in a place where you can truly speak like this and have your revelation and your personal experience. These are the things you have to do. And it's going to look different for you than it looks for me. But it's all possible through the power of God. Yeah, I hope this helped you out. I hope you take this and learn from it and apply it to your life. And I know that God will move. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like the video. If you enjoyed, if you stayed the whole time, I appreciate you guys. This has been an awesome journey, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep sticking in this word. So, yeah, have a great rest of your day. Thank you.